Hey everyone, stop scrolling right now because one of the greatest minds in history, Albert Einstein, had some seriously profound, often misunderstood thoughts about God that still spark massive debates today, and we're going to unpack every layer of it in detail. What did Albert Einstein think about God? Picture this. The physicist who revolutionized our understanding of space, time, energy, and the entire fabric of reality, with theories like special and general relativity, wasn't just a scientist locked in a lab. He was a thinker deeply engaged with the ultimate questions of existence, meaning, and whether there's something greater behind it all. Did he believe in God? What kind of God? Did he pray? Did he reject religion completely? Or did he find a spiritual dimension in the laws of nature itself? In this extended, no-rush breakdown, we're diving deep with direct quotes from his letters, essays, interviews, books, and private correspondences, full historical context, evolution of his ideas over decades, comparisons to other thinkers, and why his views get twisted by everyone from atheists to believers. I'll give you the complete, accurate picture straight from Einstein's own words. No speculation, no cherry-picking, just the facts, so you can decide for yourself. By the end of this long exploration, you'll understand exactly where Einstein landed on God, religion, science, spirituality, and why his position remains so influential and controversial even in 2026. If you're someone who loves big ideas, wrestles with faith versus reason, or just admires genius-level clarity on life's deepest mysteries, stay with me all the way through. Hit that like button if Einstein's intellect already fascinates you, and drop a comment right away. Do you think Einstein was closer to believing in God, or was he firmly in the non-believer camp? What quote from him stands out to you the most? Let's make this comment section a thoughtful discussion full of respect and curiosity. Your thoughts matter here. Let's start with the clearest, most consistent truth about Albert Einstein's views on God. He did not believe in a personal God, the traditional anthropomorphic deity found in Judaism, Christianity, Islam, or most world religions. This is not a modern interpretation or spin. Einstein stated it explicitly, repeatedly, and without ambiguity across his entire adult life, from the 1920s until his death in 1955. He rejected the idea of a God who creates the universe like a craftsman, who intervenes in human affairs, who answers prayers, who punishes sins, who rewards good behavior, or who has emotions, will, or personality like a superhuman being. For Einstein, such a concept was incompatible with modern science, which reveals a universe governed by impersonal, universal, unbreakable laws, laws that operate with mathematical precision and beauty without need for divine micromanagement or miracles that would violate those laws. He viewed the personal God as a comforting but ultimately childish human invention, born from fear, ignorance, fear of death, desire for justice, or the need for moral authority. In his eyes, projecting human traits onto the cosmos was anthropomorphic thinking, comforting for many, but not truthful or necessary for a mature understanding of reality. But here's where Einstein's position gets fascinating and nuanced. He was not a cold, dismissive atheist who saw the universe as meaningless or random. Far from it. He repeatedly described himself as having a religious feeling, a profound sense of awe, wonder, humility, and reverence when contemplating the order, harmony, and comprehensibility of the cosmos. This cosmic religious feeling, as he called it, was his version of spirituality, an overwhelming admiration for the elegant laws that make the universe intelligible to the human mind through science. He believed that the fact we can discover these laws at all, through reason, observation, and mathematics, was itself a source of deep mystery and inspiration. Science, for Einstein, was the purest way to approach this mystery, and it filled him with the same kind of reverence that traditional religion inspires in believers. He often said that true scientists must possess this cosmic piety to be driven to uncover nature's secrets. One of the most quoted and defining statements Einstein ever made on this topic came in 1929. Rabbi Herbert S. Goldstein, a prominent American rabbi, sent him a telegram asking point blank, "Do you believe in God?" Einstein's reply was concise but loaded. "I believe in Spinoza's God, who reveals himself in the orderly harmony of what exists, not in a God who concerns himself with fates and actions of human beings." This single sentence captures the core of his belief. Baruch Spinoza, the Dutch Jewish philosopher of the 17th century, who was excommunicated from his community for heresy, proposed a radical view. God is not a separate entity out there, but is identical with nature itself. Deus sive natura, God or nature. Everything that exists is part of God, nature. The laws of physics, biology, and causality are the expression of divine substance. There is no personal will, no miracles, no chosen people, no afterlife rewards, just infinite, eternal, necessary order. Einstein found this view intellectually satisfying and spiritually elevating. It aligned perfectly with his scientific life. The universe isn't chaotic or arbitrary. It's governed by profound, discoverable principles that evoke awe precisely because they are impersonal and universal. He returned to Spinoza again and again in interviews, letters, and writings as the thinker whose concept of God resonated most deeply with him. In the early 1930s, Einstein elaborated further in public writings and conversations. In his essay collection, The World as I See It, 1934, he wrote passages that have become classics. "My religiosity consists in a humble admiration of the infinitely superior spirit that reveals itself in the little that we, with our weak and transitory understanding, can grasp of reality. Morality is of the highest importance, but for us, not for God." He emphasized that he could not accept a God who rewards and punishes, as that would reduce the divine to a magnified human judge. He also stated clearly, "I do not believe in the immortality of the individual, and I consider ethics to be an exclusively human concern with no superhuman authority behind it. No soul surviving death, no divine moral arbiter, just human responsibility to live ethically out of reason, empathy, and solidarity with others." This was radical for his time, especially as a Jewish-born intellectual in an era of rising anti-Semitism and religious revival. Einstein's views evolved slightly in tone over the years, but never in substance. In his younger days, 1910s, 1920s, he was more poetic and open about the mysterious aspect of the universe. By the 1940s and 1950s, especially after the horrors of World War II, the Holocaust, which affected his extended family and community, and the atomic bomb, which he helped indirectly enable through his letter to Roosevelt, he became more emphatic in rejecting organized religion and supernatural claims. The most direct and controversial document is the so-called God Letter of January 3, 1954, written to philosopher Eric Gutkind, who had sent Einstein his book Choose Life, The Biblical Call to Revolt. In this private letter, made public after auctions in 2008 and 2018, fetching over $2.8 million, Einstein wrote with unfiltered candor, "The word God is for me nothing more than the expression and product of human weaknesses, the Bible a collection of honorable but still rather primitive lege, NDS which are nevertheless pretty childish. No interpretation, no matter how subtle, can change this for me. For me, the Jewish religion, like all others, is an incarnation of the most childish superstitions. And the Jewish people to whom I gladly belong, and with whose mentality I have a deep affinity, have no different quality for me than all other people. As far as my experience goes, they are also no better than other human groups, although they are protected from the worst cancers by a lack of power. Otherwise, I cannot see anything chosen about them." This letter shocked many when it surfaced widely because it was so blunt, no softening, no diplomatic phrasing. It confirmed what he had said privately for decades. He saw all organized religions, including Judaism, as human constructs rooted in fear, tribalism, and pre-scientific thinking. He respected the ethical teachings in the Bible, justice, compassion, truth-seeking, but viewed them as human wisdom, not divine revelation. He identified strongly as a cultural Jew, proud of Jewish intellectual tradition, supportive of Zionism as a refuge from persecution, though he criticized aspects of Israeli politics later, but he rejected any supernatural or exclusivist claims. Despite this rejection of personal God and organized religion, Einstein insisted he was not an atheist in the strict sense. In a 1950 letter he wrote, "My position concerning God is that of an agnostic. I am convinced that a vivid consciousness of the primary importance of moral principles for the betterment and ennoblement of life does not need the idea of a lawgiver, especially a lawgiver who works on the basis of reward and punishment." He distinguished between atheist, denying any higher reality, and his own stance, acknowledging a profound mystery in the universe's existence and order, but refusing to personify it or attribute will to it. He said in 1930, "To sense that behind anything that can be experienced, there is something that our minds cannot grasp, whose beauty and sublimity reaches us only indirectly. This is religiousness. In this sense, and only this sense, I am a deeply religious man." His famous metaphors, "God does not play dice with the universe," criticizing quantum indeterminacy in debates with Bohr. "God is subtle, but he is not malicious," were never literal references to a deity, but poetic ways of expressing faith in the ultimate rationality and comprehensibility of nature. If the universe were truly random or capricious, science itself would be impossible. That underlying order was, for him, the closest thing to God. Einstein's position challenges both rigid theists and militant atheists. To believers, you can have deep spirituality without dogma, miracles, or a personal savior. To skeptics, wonder at the cosmos can be a form of reverence, not superstition. His legacy reminds us that intelligence and humility can coexist with mystery. Science answers how, but the why of existence remains awe-inspiring. If this full exploration of Einstein's thoughts on God resonated with you, give it a massive like to help spread clear facts over myths. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more breakdowns of history's deepest thinkers on faith, science, and life. In the comments section, let's keep it going. Which part of Einstein's view surprised you most? Do you lean toward his cosmic religious feeling, or do you prefer a more traditional belief? Share a quote or thought. Respectful discussion only. Thanks for investing your time here. Stay thoughtful, stay curious. Peace out. Expanded continuation for full length. To give you even more depth, let's revisit key periods of Einstein's life and how his ideas on God shifted or stayed constant. Born in 1879 in Ulm, Germany, to non-observant Jewish parents, Einstein had little formal religious education as a child. At age 12, he briefly became devout, reading the Bible, composing hymns, observing kosher rules. But by his teens, influenced by science books like Aaron Bernstein's popular works on natural science, he rejected personal religion as incompatible with reason. This early shift set the tone, science as the path to truth, religion as comforting myth. In his patent office years in Bern, 1902-1909, while developing special relativity, he was already articulating a pantheistic-leaning view in private letters to friends. By the 1910s, during general relativity's development, the "God does not play dice" phrase emerged in correspondence with Max Born and others, not as theology, but as philosophical defense of determinism. The 1920s brought public fame and more statements. In Religion and Science, New York Times, 1930, he distinguished three levels of religion: fear-based, primitive, moral, social, ethical codes, and cosmic, awe at nature's order. He placed himself firmly in the third. He wrote, "The individual feels the futility of human desires and aims, and the sublimity and marvelous order which reveal themselves both in nature and in the world of thought. Individual existence impresses him as a sort of prison, and he wants to experience the universe as a single significant whole." During the Nazi rise, 1933 onward, Einstein, now in the US, spoke more about ethics without God. He supported humanism, morality from human solidarity, not divine command. In Out of My Later Years, 1950, he reiterated, "A man's ethical behavior should be based effectually on sympathy, education, and social ties. No religious basis will serve." The 1954 God letter was his final, unvarnished word, private but now iconic. It shows a man in his 70s, facing mortality, still committed to reason over comfort. Comparisons help. Unlike Newton or Kepler, who saw God as lawgiver, Einstein aligned more with Spinoza, Goethe, and later figures like Carl Sagan. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. Unlike Dawkins-style new atheists, he avoided ridiculing believers. He respected genuine piety, just not literalism. Common misquotes: "Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind," is real, but context is key. His religion is cosmic awe, not church-going. God does not play dice is physics philosophy, not proof of God. Einstein's view endures because it bridges worlds, rigorous science plus soul-stirring wonder. It invites us to ask, can awe at the universe be enough religion for a meaningful life? For him, yes, and it powered one of history's most brilliant minds. Thanks again for going the distance with this long, detailed look. Like, subscribe, comment your reflections. Let's keep exploring big questions together. Until next time, keep questioning, keep wondering. Peace.